That's right, my friends. There's another Revolution makeup brand. Another one bites the dust. Revolution is one of those brands, umbrella brands, that has about 1 million brands underneath it. In fact, on the box it says Revolution Beauty, Revolution Pro, Obsession, Makeup London, I Heart Revolution. They've also got Revolution Skin, XX Revolution, and now Revolution Evolution Clean Beauty. I've got a load of little bits to test for you and kind of give you my mini reviews on. I find this one quite interesting despite the fact it's called Clean Beauty, because it's called Clean Evolution Beauty. Because and don't get me wrong, I have been guilty of this in the past, but I am not a fan of the whole clean spiel. Because in reality, you guys, obviously, I respect, if you like clean beauty and you like brands that promote themselves as clean, I was like that once as well. Not that I'm any better than that, because I obviously engaged in it quite a lot on my channel, but I just, on reflection, what does it mean? What does clean beauty mean? I know there's been this big pushback from scientists and dermatologists and estheticians saying like, clean ingredients, that doesn't mean anything. It's like clean eating. What does that mean? You're not going to put ketchup on your chips? Does that make them clean if they're not covered in sauce? What constitutes clean? But what I find interesting about this range, even though they've used, sorry, I'm going to get on to the products in just one moment. I'll leave a timestamp if you want to check it out, and just skip ahead to the reviews. But I wanted to mention they did actually, on the release, they mentioned what exactly they mean by clean, which I do really appreciate, because they basically said by clean, their philosophy of clean beauty, also my hair's still wet by the way, just had a shower, they mean that the products are vegan, cruelty-free, considered, so you know they're there for a reason, they're not just chucking out products for any reason. The formulations are simplified, free from unnecessary ingredients, sustainable and upcycled ingredients where possible, responsible and recyclable packaging, transparency and openness to avoid confusion. What I really like about this list is that they don't mention toxic ingredients. They don't say these products are non-toxic. They don't mention that anywhere, which I do really like, because that again is just a bit of spiel. So I do really like that. I mean, I feel like when they say considered products, their regular ranges do kind of just chuck out products. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of counterintuitiveness, if that's a word. I haven't opened anything up yet, but I think I've got enough kind of for a full face. I might need to use a different foundation, but I'm going to crack on and use some of the bits. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little preface of what the collection's all about. Starting with skincare, they've got a couple of skincare bits they sent through, including their freshwater cleanser, which to me looks like a micellar water. It says it's supposed to be brightening and it's got upcycled grapefruit in. For me, when I see grapefruit, usually products with grapefruit are quite strong. It smells just like a micellar water, doesn't smell of grapefruit. This reminds me in terms of aesthetics of the Fenty cleansing water micellar thingy. I'm not going to use that because I don't really need to do that because I've washed my face, but I will go in with their True Moisture Gel. This has got upcycled olives in, which is quite interesting, and they've also got a hydration serum, which I'm going to test out now. This has got hyaluronic and grapefruit. Oh, grapefruit again, what is it with the grapefruit? I mean, don't get me wrong, I know some people love grapefruit, but I just never really found it as a great ingredient for my normal skin. That's what the packaging looks like. Glass, I think. Sounds like glass. It's quite pretty packaging actually. On the back it says parts of me can be recycled, parts need to go in the bin, and then it says exactly what can be recycled, which parts of it, like the dropper or the bottle, which I find quite interesting. And this retails for £10. A mixture between skincare and a hybrid between skincare and makeup. Let's give it a go. I don't think it has any instructions on it, or does it? How much do I need to use? Use me after applying the moisture gel. Oh, usually I put a serum before a moisturizer, but okay, it says to use the gel before the serum. Alrighty then, let's give it a go. And this packaging is made from sugarcane, which is quite interesting. I think when it comes to packaging, I try not to dwell on it too much, because I do kind of feel like every kind of packaging has a pro and a con. Like there's no perfect packaging out there. Obviously it's better than just using virgin plastic, but just because something is like a bioplastic, it doesn't necessarily mean it's completely sustainable. Again, just look for the spiel. Spiel, I love that word. I think it's just spiel. I don't know why I say spiel. But just look for the marketing spiel in any kind of product. And this is not specific to Revolution, but when it comes to like clean beauty, you've just got to keep your eyes peeled for when they're just trying to fool you. Something is better than nothing. And in a non-perfect world, unperfect world. God, my English is really bad today. You just gotta take what you can get, I guess. Okay, that feels nice. Just felt like a kind of gel moisturiser. Nothing too crazy. I do have sensitive skin, by the way, so hopefully the skincare is good for sensitive skin. No idea how much this serum to use because I don't think it says on the box. No, it doesn't give any directions, but I've just got a few drops on the back of my hand. Doesn't smell of anything. I mean, feels nice, to be fair. I wish they came out with an SPF as well, because now I'm going to have to go in with my SOS SPF. So skincare wise, not much to mention. I suppose I'm just gonna have to keep using them and let you know what I think of them. I've just put my SPF on and I'm gonna quickly go in with the Barry Fresh Face Foundation because I don't have a concealer or foundation from this range to test out. I don't know if there is a foundation or a concealer, but if there is, they haven't sent it to me. This foundation is very much a skin tint. It's very much light coverage, but I have been really enjoying it with a concealer. Just evens out the skin tone nicely, brings a bit of colour back to my face. I feel like the colourings in here make me look quite grey, so hopefully we'll try and even that out. And then, slippery fingers from the gel. Darn it. I'm just trying to open this concealer. This is the Revolution Pro Concealer, which I actually am obsessed with. I have mine in the shade C6. It's really good for if you've got sort of lines underneath your eyes. I really recommend this one, it's great. Anyway, back to Planet Revolution. They have these little colour pots, which you're supposed to be able to use on your lips or your cheeks. So I've got Blush Cherry and Peach Breeze. Let's open these up. So Blush Cherry is this mauvey shade, and then Peach Breeze is a peachy coral. I think I might go for the peach shade on my cheeks, and then maybe the mauve on my lips. Quite glossy, actually. I love the look of cream blush in terms of like the finish of it, especially for like topping up on top of, you know, when you top up your SPF or your sun cream on your face, and it kind of, there's no perfect way of doing it, because it does, if you've got makeup on and you're trying to top up your sun cream, it does kind of wash you out and you're left with kind of a, even if it's the most translucent one in the world, it sometimes makes you look a little bit ghostly, even on me, who obviously I'm fair, so it will show up more if someone's got a tan or they're naturally deep skinned or medium skinned. But I do find with cream blushes, they help to bring back a bit of colour, whilst also, obviously because it's sort of like a creamy consistency, it doesn't stick to the skin as a powder would. So they're quite a good way to kind of bring back a little bit of colour after you've topped up your sun cream, top tip. These feel very nice on the skin. I feel like they look very natural. I don't think this colour would look great on my lips because I just know peaches and corals don't look great on me. So I'm going to try the mauve, the Blush Cherry. Don't know why it's called that because it's a strong mauve. I think of cherry and I think of red. These feel interesting because they almost feel like a cheek gloss or like a gloss balm. I don't know if you can see. Very glossy as opposed to a kind of matte cream. Kind of look like a dead fish with this colour on my lips. I wish they sent me a pink, but maybe I'll be able to pick up a pink somewhere. But in terms of formula, very impressed. That feels really nice on the lips. On the cheeks, it feels really nice. Went on really well. Very impressed. And those retail for £6. So pretty cheap actually. I would definitely pick up, on first impressions, I'd definitely pick up more of a pink shade because I really do like the formula and how it didn't make me look like a clown, because I know if you've got fair skin, sometimes cream blushes can make you look a little bit overboard. I feel like it's easier to go in with a lighter hand with a powder blush compared to a cream blush. So very impressed with those, surprisingly impressed in fact. I didn't have high hopes for them because I thought they'd be a bit sticky or funny, but it doesn't feel sticky on the lips at all. So that's that one. What can we do next? Should we move on to the eye? Actually, I'll add a bit of bronzer and then we'll move on to the eyeshadow palettes. I think they have a good few eyeshadow palettes, but I got the Solar palette and the Energy palette. Ooh. This looks like a pink palette, this looks like a green palette. We'll see if that's reflected on the inside, shall we? So this is the Solar palette. It's got this lovely embossed marble effect. And this, oh, you can see in the mirror what I can see. This is what the inside looks like. Let me show you properly. This is what the inside looks like. Very interesting, kind of like jeweled effect on these ones. I wonder if that's just an overlay or if that's the actual palette. Can I lift this up? It says that the packaging is made out of biodegradable fibre form, originates from plant waste. Once you finish, rinse me out, click out my mirror, peel off my label and recycle me. What do you mean? You keep, oh, the mirror's not recyclable, I get it. What do you mean? So everything is designed to come apart. That's very interesting actually, because looking at this, yeah, the palette is, sometimes in palettes they're quite hard to recycle because everything's really glued together and it's really hard to get it apart, but this is designed to be taken apart. Very interesting. I really like that, because I have always thought that products aren't really designed to be repurposed or recycled, so you have to get quite inventive with how you dismantle things, recycle things, repurpose things. But I really like that. I hope more brands start doing that. In fact, I do hope they start doing some of these things with their regular lines, like their Revolution Beauty line and Revolution Pro. Don't know where I was going with that, but that's that palette. It's kind of like an interesting colour palette. It's like got the creams and the bronzes and the greens. So let's see what's in the Energy palette, which is the green one. Something smells like my nan. Like, maybe it's what's on my lips. It smells like my nan in a nice way, in a comforting way. I do really like this packaging. Very cool. Oh, and I just want you to think, guess what colour palette I'm looking at right now, considering the outer packaging was this dark shade and it had green packaging. 3, 2, 1. I was not anticipating that. Look, how beautiful. That's so interesting. That's a really interesting colour palette. Should I just swatch 1 or 2 of these? Okay, yellow's a little bit weak, but well, they swatch quite nicely. They're not like the most pigmented shadows ever in terms of like pops of colour, but yeah, okay, interesting. I think I might go for the pink palette just because I do have to go out after this, so I don't really want to be wearing yellow, blue, green on my eyes. So I'm going to go for this slightly more neutral palette. Very much more neutral palette. I'm going to take this shade in my crease, I think, and then maybe one of these on the lid. The shades don't have names, but they do have numbers, so I'm going to take number 4 on my 100% pure brush. I'm not wearing an eyelid primer, by the way, but that's because I don't usually wear an eyelid primer. Trying to keep this a fair test. I was actually hoping that there would be a darker shade in one of these palettes that I could use in my eyebrows, so I've actually just used some powder from another palette just to fill in my brows. I am getting a tiny little bit of pilling up, but I think that's just down to the fact that I'd already done my like half of my skincare, then I used a gel, then I used a serum, then I put on a foundation, and now I'm putting on makeup. So I think there's just, oh no, between the foundation and the serum I also used an SPF, so I think there's just a lot of product on my face. I don't think that's a reflection of the eyeshadows, but I mean this mauve is blending really nicely. It would have been nice to use an eyeshadow primer first, but that's my bad. I don't even think I have one with me. I'm just going to clean it up a tiny little bit with the cream in the palette. In the inner corner and under the brow bone. Okay, let's do something a little bit more interesting and add, ooh, which should I go for? We've got a pinky shade, bronzy, a purpley, a green. I just want to see what these shades look like when you actually put your finger in them. Oh, they've got a shift to them. Interesting. That's like a greeny bronze with like a kind of very bright reflect. And then this shade, this cream, very pretty. I'm going to use that one in a minute, I think. Really nice. Oh, okay, interesting. These are swatching lovely. I'll show you proper swatches, but they're looking really good. I'll do them off camera because right now I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. Bronze, maybe use a bronze. Let's apply this with a finger. Very impressed with this eyeshadow formula. I have used Revolution shadows before, and whilst I like them, they're not the most high quality ever, but these feel like slightly higher quality than what I'm used to. And this palette retails for £18, so it's not the cheapest ever. It's probably a slightly more expensive formula. That's why it feels a little bit nicer. Now, I'm not doing an amazing job of applying it, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the performance of the shadows, they feel great. I'm really impressed with this eyeshadow palette. I think it's nicer quality than other Makeup Revolution brand palettes I've used before. Don't get me wrong, I haven't done the neatest job ever of applying it, but I'm really intrigued as to the brighter shade palette. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed so far. And let's move on to the eyeshadow crayons. So I've got one in dark brown and one in brown. No black, interesting. Okay, I think they did do a black. It doesn't say how much these are, but I have actually just seen on this little slip, it says
The research and development of this range, the Planet Revolution range, has been fundamental to Revolution Beauty's company-wide process. By working this way, we've already made significant changes to our other brands. Okay, that's great. That is actually what I was asking for earlier in this video. Had I actually read the press release properly, I wouldn't be bitching and complaining. But yeah, that's amazing. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, because you know, if you can do it for one brand, why can't you do it for all your brands? So that's really, really good. I'm going to take the dark brown shade, I think, and just take it on my upper lash line, and then maybe the brown shade on my lower lash line. Now, I do find sometimes with kohl pencils, they don't apply amazingly well on top of foiled shadows, like shimmer shadows. It's not really rough, but it's not really soft. What does that mean? It's probably the perfect balance, actually, because if it's too soft, it's just going to kind of be a bit too creamy and not last very long. But if it's too hard, it scratches your eyelid and it really hurts. But this feels like a nice in between. It's definitely got grip, but it's not super scratchy. I am actually low-key a bit worried about wearing this much makeup outside, mainly because, I know it doesn't look like oodles of makeup, but mainly because I haven't worn a lot of eye makeup in a while. I just kind of do very, very basic makeup, and mainly because it's hay fever season, and on my days, my eyes just stream. So I'm really hoping this will be a really, really, really good test for this makeup, because none of my makeup lasts. None of my eye makeup lasts on my eyes. This is the lighter brown shade. With these, the proof will be in the pudding in terms of how long they last on my eyes, but I will say they went on really nicely, not too creamy, but not scratchy. And they're also plastic free. Oh, the lid is aluminium and the pencil is wooden. That's amazing. So when you're finished, you should have just like a tiny little wooden stub and an aluminium cap that you can recycle. That is really, really good. I wish all brands did aluminium caps, because that seems like such an easy switch from plastic to aluminium. And that is pretty much everything when it comes to the Makeup Revolution products, or Planet Revolution products. Sorry, so many brands. But there is one more thing in terms, I'll finish off my makeup and then we'll come back to this one, but this is a everything balm. So I guess this is skincare, a lip balm, a little bit of a everything in one, because you're supposed to be able to use it on your hands, on your lips, wherever, on your bum, should you wish. This is a Revolution Pro mascara, the Lift and Define 5D lash. I do have a whole video on Revolution if you want to check that out. This mascara is kind of great, but also kind of clump city, and is a bit of a bugger to get off, but it's good in terms of the effect. Like if you want an intense lash, it is quite volumizing, but it's a lot. Let's try this everything balm. I feel like maybe I'll put a lip liner on. I feel like this look needs something a little bit more pink maybe on the lip. It's a little bit better, just a little bit of color, because I feel like everything else is a little bit neutral with the peach blush and whatnot. But let's try a little bit of this everything balm. I'm very picky when it comes to lip balms. So let's see what this is like. I wonder if it's like the Elizabeth Arden 8-hour balm. It's in an aluminium tube. Okay, thicker than I expected, but in a good way. Smells slightly fruity. It feels nice though. It feels a little bit thinner than I would like in a lip balm, but I'm going to keep using this and let you know how it goes. But yes, that is sort of my first impression of a load of Planet Revolution bits. I would say I'm most impressed with everything. I mean, skincare I will have to keep testing out, same with the lip balm or the everything balm, but I will say these little pots really, really like. I would love to try some of the more pink shades, because they feel a little bit more me. And really impressed with these eye crayons. I will do a little check-in I think at the end of this video to show you how the makeup is worn, but please bear in mind my eyes stream, especially in hay fever season. So if it smudges a bit, I'm not mad about it, because all makeup will smudge if your tears are literally rolling out of your eyes. Okay, I'm sweating absolute rules. It's not really smudging. My hair looks crazy. I've been out pretty much all day. I've been wearing a mask, and what do we think? Obviously the eye makeup has smudged. You can see there's a little bit of transfer. But considering my eyes were watering like crazy, my makeup usually smudges anyway, I'm not that mad at it. I do look a little bit cray, but the lips have obviously worn off, the lip product wore off. I feel like the cheap product's worn off as well, but that's kind of the nature of cream or liquid or glossy products. So overall it was about 7 hours when I applied all the rest of the bits, and like I know like here it's a bit of black smudged, which is probably the eyeliner traveling, the kohl pencil liner, but
overall, I'm quite impressed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite impressed. And yeah, I guess I'll just wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you ever so much to Planet Revolution or Revolution Beauty for sending out these bits. I really enjoy testing them out, and I really like this brand. I have to admit, I was kind of thinking initially, you could probably tell my initial intro was maybe the tiniest little bit negative, just because I was like, oh, another brand. But actually, there's actually thought put behind this brand. It doesn't just seem like a cash grab. It doesn't just seem like they've just chucked out another brand. It actually seems like they've given it quite a lot of thought, which I do really appreciate. So yeah, I'm excited to try more from the range and give these products more of a try. If you've tried anything, please do let me know what you've tried and what you thought, and subscribe if you want to see some more from me. Like, follow, comment, follow me on my socials, all that jazz, and hopefully I'll see you very soon. Bye.